Hey everyone, welcome back again. Again. Seems like we do this every week. It's Wednesday afternoon, evening. Maybe it's like late at night or the middle of the night. If you're like on the continent of Africa or something. But here in beautiful Santa Cruz, California, it's 5:30 p.m. Wow, nice. And we're here for another Shower Door Professionals live stream. Man, this is the place. If you're interested in what's going on in the shower door industry, if you want to know about safety, design, marketing, everything there is to know about shower door business, came to the right place. So if you're watching us on YouTube and it's the next day or something, be sure to subscribe and give us a little thumbs up or whatever. And that'd be awesome. What else? Am I forgetting anything? I think that's pretty much it. It's good to see everybody. I want to give Christina an opportunity to give a little report about what's going on with the co-op. What's going on, Christina?
Hey, everyone. I'm Christina. I am on the board of the co-op. If you don't know what the co-op is, there's a lot to it, but ultimately it's just a group of people getting together to share leads or provide each other leads across the country, pull our resources for marketing, education, maybe purchasing, etc., amongst some other things, and hopefully give back to this community of people so that we can enhance our industry as a whole. If you have any questions about that, always feel free to reach out. You can reach out to myself, Shannon, Lana, or Chris, or Rob Gomez. And Brandon Nicastro has actually joined us as well. Very exciting update. Brandon has been doing a lot of work to create an event, another event outside of Glass Build. So the co-op event was so successful at Glass Build this year, and everyone wanted a little bit more time, more stuff. And Brandon has graciously offered his time and expertise to plan, create, build an event, maybe a weekend or a couple of days. We're thinking late April. And it will be kind of a workshop event. So some of the things that we talk about, we'd actually work together to implement in our own businesses, work with speakers and other professionals to just build our businesses together. There's a lot of stuff there. If you'd like to get involved in that, let us know. Talk to Brandon. Within the co-op, there's a committee for planning. And speaking of which, if you are a member of the co-op, there's a separate Facebook page that is not meant to replace this Facebook page, but it is for co-op updates, including things like joining committees, adding content to the website, and things like that. If you know you're a part of that page, take a look there. I posted some things yesterday or the day before. I don't even know what day it is anymore. And we would love your participation on that page. And let's see what else. Thank you to Shannon, who got the banking situation situated. We opened the bank account for the co-op this morning.
Wow, congratulations. That is huge. That sounds simple, right? It's like, oh, what's the big deal? You open it. Man, this has been a real challenge. Opening a bank. The banks didn't understand what a co-op is. It's like, so you're what? What are you doing? And who owns it? And what? So it's like we had to like educate the bank. I say we because it's like I just take credit for everything. But really, Shannon and Christina have been just jumping through all of these hoops, to make this happen. So that's actually a really big deal. Thanks, you guys.
Yeah. So thank you, Shannon. So we're going to get that situated. There are a couple more hoops to jump through, but it exists now, which is great. And I'll work with Shannon throughout the rest of the week to get that funded and figured out. But ultimately, we're in great shape moving forward on that. And if you have any interest in joining us for this event, maybe we'll do a poll or something. I don't know if Brandon's on this call. Let me see. I'm on my phone, so I can't really see everybody.
Not
But
so far, but
maybe
but
we'll stick a poll on the Facebook page and just who's interested in the event. We're thinking about capping it at about 100 people. We've got to keep it
yeah,
relatively small, but I think that's still hardy. I mean, I think we had 80 people at the co-op event at Glass Build, so it will be out of state, but it would be worth your while. So definitely something very exciting. So I think that's all I have. Did I miss anything,
no,
Chris?
I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot to cover. So, I mean, in case you just kind of just joining us or you kind of went over your head. So the co-op is planning like an event for us, like an exclusive event. Well, other people in the industry will be allowed to attend, but we're going to cap it at a pretty small number. We're thinking about around 100. And it's going to be a full-on event with speakers and workshops and fun stuff. And it's going to be like a kind of like going to Glass Build only in the spring, and it'll just be our event. So this is something that we don't have a firm date for it yet, and we don't have a firm location, but we've decided that we have the bandwidth to do this, especially with Brandon DeCastro being willing to join us and kind of spearhead the thing. He's already done a lot of work. He's been thinking about this for a long time. He's already done a lot of the work. So it's pretty exciting, I think, for us to have our own Shower Door Pros event. Can you imagine that? That is going to be crazy. So super stoked. Thanks you guys for everything that you're doing to make this happen. And get involved. I mean, if there's something going on that kind of rings your bell and you want to get on the committee, you're invited to do that. If there's something you think hasn't, needs to be done and nobody's doing it, that's even better. Hop on board, get in touch, let us know. We're going to do a lot of cool stuff. A lot of cool stuff's already happening. So. Awesome. So anyway, with that, I just look around. Oh yeah, I just wanted to kind of remind everyone. I mean, if you haven't gotten on the call yet and you're trying to get on and I'm not letting you in, it's because we've had some trouble with like kids, hopping on our call and just doing stupid stuff, and it's like it's a distraction. It's just hard to avoid, and it's just we're gonna just make it so that it's just us. And if you can't get here in time, I know it sucks. Some people can't, but yeah, you're gonna have to get here before the call starts in order to be on the Zoom call, at least for the time being. So, with that said, I'm wondering if anybody has a topic or just a question that you want to put out there.
I don't necessarily have a question, but the fact that you're talking about doing these events, it reminds me of I've gone to a couple like growth conferences and stuff, and they always talk about like mastermind groups. And I feel like this is essentially a very niche mastermind group, very tailored to what we do, which is pretty cool because I thought about joining a mastermind group where you can talk with other entrepreneurs and stuff like that, but they're all like in other industries. This is like very concentrated to exactly what we do, and the opportunity to be together at an event like that would be pretty freaking awesome. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that as far as, they were talking about proximity and stuff like that. So, the proximity to all these people in the industry doing exactly what you do, maybe just a little bit differently with different experiences, is a pretty incredible opportunity to be a part of, which it sounds exciting to do something like that, to get together and you just talk about stuff in the industry and so close to what you do. You're not you're not talking with an entrepreneur in some other faraway business, which is still nice that they're an entrepreneur, but doesn't exactly relate to what we do, you know? So this is a very good opportunity, I think. It's pretty cool. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool to be able to commiserate with other people who have kind of the same problems and same challenges that you face, you know. And if you know Brandon at all, if you followed him, you know, he's all about personal development and, you know, and business and even like health and mindset and like just he's a really pretty well-rounded guy. Is into coaching and all that stuff. I mean, he's got a lot of energy. You know, he's a little bit younger than me, so he's still got a lot of energy. So it's really cool that that he's willing to do this, and he used those exact same terms, like talked about mastermind, and having that kind of an opportunity, you know, for people to get together. And who knows, you know, might get together for a couple of days in the spring and have a meeting and make some relationships with people that just carry on throughout the year. And you know, who knows, do whatever we want.
And I think too, during Glass Build, we really only have a breakout session, which is great, but this will be so much more than that, and we can dive in a lot deeper than that. Mm-hmm. Plus, we already have sponsors that are excited and interested in working with us. And this, again, is all thanks to Brandon. He was already considering doing something like this and had already kind of gotten those wheels in motion, and then tagged up with the co-op. And I think with the backing and with all of us, we can kind of work together and make this a really big, nice, great, awesome event. So I like the workshop aspect. So for example, if you all haven't listened to the call that Greg Stowell hosted, I think March of this year, maybe March of last year, it's been a while, but Know Your Numbers. I think like a workshop example of Know Your Numbers, where we can all sit down and actually calculate our numbers together. Maybe not, you know, obviously keep things private and personal if that makes sense. But I think that would be so critical to actually coming back to your business with true factual ideas and tactical planning. So yeah, we go to these events. Like I have a million things on my to-do list from Glass Build, a million ideas, but I haven't actually had time to sit down and do them. And I think this is one that these are things we can actually sit down and work on together.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's cool after just talking about it, like very briefly, really. I mean, the idea has come up. I think after that first Top Golf thing we went to that HMI put on and invited us to, that was in Vegas, right? After that thing, you know, a bunch of us were like, man, we should be doing this, you know, more often. We should just do this on our own. And that idea kind of came up. So it's something we've talked about a little bit, but now most recently when the topic came up again and we started to discuss it, it was as though, I mean, we were already kind of a mile down the road and had all, you know, all these kind of a few of the ducks in a row already on it. So I am super excited about doing that. And, you know, for starters, maybe we'll just have an annual event like that. But who knows? I mean, I would look forward to as many opportunities as possible, getting together with you guys in different ways, you know. I'm excited.
Let me throw something out there, Christine.
Yeah.
And Chris, you know, next year Glass Build is in Orlando. It's 3 hours away from us.
Right.
But Keith and I have offered it. If you wanted to do a function here, we could do a tour of the plant, do something. And if you want, we could rent buses. And then, you know, like if you fly into Fort Myers instead of Orlando, you could come here, spend a day, and then, you know, get a bus trip up to Orlando, and then you can leave from Orlando if you wanted to. So
that would be awesome, Bill.
We could plan the same thing. if you wanted, we could do it
Are we
here.
gonna party in your house and trash it or what?
Not his house, but his shop.
It may improve it.
Right.
It may improve it. But
Well, it's cool. I didn't get to go to Glassville this year, but I heard that one of the highlights of it was that tour that they got to do at a local shop there. So, I mean, being able to go visit your place and take a tour would be like the bomb.
yeah, well, we can plan on it. I mean, I
Awesome.
think that'd be pretty cool. The only thing that is the negative is that is in hurricane season. So we have to watch out.
You're
Plans
getting used to that, Bill.
Just
It
say
seems
your
like
prayers and
It seems like every time there's a glass build, we're evacuating and heading to glass build to get out of here. That's the only thing that scares me about trying to plan it down here. But hey, it's an option, something we could do. We have places like a big bowling alley we could get together instead of doing Top Golf, and everybody can, we could rent the place out.
yeah.
It'd be a lot of fun. And they're building a go-kart track in
Now,
adjacent to it.
I'm not a golfer, but I can bowl with that.
See? Yeah, everybody can. It's a good
Yeah.
family atmosphere, and
Yeah.
they've got a restaurant, pizza, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And we have a good time. So that's an option. I mean, I like
Fantastic.
I like the fact that it's you're leaving your business, so you leave a day early, and come here before you head to glass build. And then if you're bringing the family, Orlando's a great spot, because if they don't want to go to glass build, and you don't want to leave your family behind, there's so many things they can do.
You got like Disney World or something, don't you there?
Yeah, you got Disney World and Universal Studios.
Universal Studios.
Orlando's got all sorts of family stuff. Yeah. All the
Our kid-
hotels. There's a big Gaylord Palms, which, they have many throughout the United States, and are just a great place to go. So you don't even have to stay on Disney property.
And our kids will be safe because P. Diddy's in jail.
It's what? Oh, I don't think your kids have to worry about much.
I don't think so either.
We used to like a place called Wet and Wild down there in Orlando.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good water park. Still there. There's indoor skydiving. That's kind of cool.
Right.
That is. It's really cool. So good stuff. You have done escape rooms. There's a place that has like 5 or 6 different escape rooms, and those are fun to do as teams. Going like 5 or 6 at a time.
What if we have a competition in installing a shower door? Since you're there, you can fab it up and see who does the best installs.
You could do that.
I have a prize at the end.
We've got vignettes there. You could either do timing or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I know that Bill, their place is set up for that, right?
Yeah.
You guys do that kind of stuff anyway, don't you?
Yeah, all our installers train there. When we hire them, they train in-house, not in your house.
I like it.
That's what we say.
Not
In-house training.
Shower door Olympics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
There
that.
you go.
Shower door
There you go.
best
There
dinner.
you go.
Yeah. Or you could have races. We got scrap glass. You could have races in the parking lot. Got to carry glass from the truck to the dumpster.
Yeah. Or like throw it into the dumpster from a far distance.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you have to have a few drinks first.
Yeah.
Goes without saying.
I mean, if you're going to do something that dangerous, you need to do
Goes
it.
without saying. Yeah. If you're going to start throwing glass, I'll make sure there's an ambulance standing by.
Tempered, whatever. I'm just-
Lots of Advil,
That's
back braces.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, what are you guys thinking? Speaking of like events and hosting, I mean, that sounds amazing, Bill. And I think we would all learn so much from coming to your shop. A lot of people have already come down. I have not, and I am incredibly jealous. And
Christina, there's a flight that leaves Atlanta like every hour from here. You can get on a flight, come down, spend 3 or 4 hours, and be back in the same day.
I know, but we would literally have to close our business right now if I did that. So
I hear you. Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but somebody flipped the switch on this week, and all of a sudden everybody is here. It's like season has arrived.
My question is, what are you all doing for your employees for holiday, Christmas gifts or holiday party or bonuses and things like that? What are your plans and your presents?
Just had meetings today about that. That's funny you say it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good topic. Yeah, I'd like to hear that.
Last year we had a big one. It was our 20th anniversary. Both companies made the Inc. 5000. So it was a big celebration. So we had all the employees and their family and kids. So we rented out the Red Sox spring training camp, JetBlue Park. And it was fantastic. Had catered, all sorts of activities for the kids, had all the companies out on the field. You could play ball, throw a football around, baseball, bounce houses, face painting, ice cream, popcorn, you name it. And we had it in December and it was phenomenal. That was good. So we just had our meeting this year and I think we're going to break them down into like office staff is having their white elephant gift exchange and do a few raffles. And we usually buy a bunch of raffle stuff and Starbucks gift cards and local dinner gift cards, try and get some business to local restaurants around here. So we do that, and Don and I will do our little Santa tour. We'll go around to the remote stores. So like Orlando, we'll spend a night in Orlando with the guys and then go over to Boca. That's our plan. And I'll always would put some kind of a bonus in their check if the year, is good. As long as we're not bleeding money. I certainly want to put some money into their pockets for their families. So that's our plan. I'd love to hear other plans.
And we have a dinner and then give out bonuses, raffles. Say thank you.
Yeah, you got to break it up. You know what's fun is if you've taken a lot of pictures during the year, have somebody make it a film thing and get a TV there so the guys can look back over the year on different things. That's kind of neat too. It's like a year in review.
The slideshow sort of thing.
Yeah, slideshow. I mean, tell the guys you're taking your pictures and they're always going to give you some kind of a funky pose that they're going to be
right.
regretting when you show it in December.
You know what? For years, I used to have a sit-down dinner and catered it, and it was good food or whatever, or try to go to a nice restaurant. And what I found though over the years is after, prior to the dinner, people would talk and then they'd eat their dinner and then it was like they were anxious to leave. So the last couple of years we tried to do an activity. And one of the more fun activities was we did an axe throwing. There's up here in West Virginia, there's a couple places where you do an axe throwing event. And that went, the ladies that work for me, the guys, we had a blast. And we've done bowling and things like that. And, good food. I try not to, shrimp, steak, whatever it is. We just have a good time. I found that that has gone over so much better than just a traditional sit down type activity. And so we're probably going to, lean that way again. So.
Yeah, we've done that, and you're right. You're exactly right. It's just, especially when you get a lot of installers, they're not used to going out to restaurants like that. It's just awkward. But we have it at the shop, and we'll have games. We have games set up. One of the best things to do is YouTube old shows of Minute to Win It. And they're just simple little games, with a tape measure and a ping pong ball, and you try and get it into a shot glass from 6 feet away. Just that anybody could do, carry a balloon across the room on the end of a straw, and simple things that they've done on TV that everybody can do. Everybody in the office, nobody gets embarrassed about it. It's a lot of fun. Even if it's a little race where they got to stick a balloon between your legs and bounce, they love it. It's just competition, camaraderie, and you give stupid little prizes. And the other one that we have is, got a guy in our shop named Rod. He's our shop foreman, and he makes this ball out of shrink wrap.
Yes.
And he starts it right, and then he puts a layer of lottery tickets in it, wraps it, and then a $5 bill and a $20 bill, and the ball gets to be like this, and it is so tight. And he puts cuts in it every so often. So once you get it, and then you do that with a set of dice, and you go around the table. So
Yeah.
The one guy with the dice keeps throwing the dice until he gets doubles. When he gets doubles, he grabs the shrink wrap thing from the guy next to him, passes the dice forward. He tries to get the shrink wrap open while the next guy's trying to throw doubles.
Oh, okay.
And
It's
it goes
it's a
fast.
great thing.
Yeah, they have
Yeah.
so much fun with that.
Yeah.
So much fun. And you know, you go out and you buy movie tickets, a gift certificate to a restaurant, lottery tickets, cash, fun stuff. Stick it in there. You know, they can see it and they're panicking and they're trying to rip the ball apart.
Yeah,
It's a lot of fun.
it is.
Love it.
There's a game called Left, Center, Right. Have you ever played that with dice?
Mm-hmm.
It's a very simple game. You can pick it up anywhere. And that's always a party hit. You could have 20 people playing the same game and it moves quickly. It's a lot of fun.
Those are good ones.
Yeah.
You know, I agree with Mike so much that the sit down meal, we did that early. And he's right. You come in, you mingle around, finally sit down, maybe have a gift exchange, and it's time to go home. And nobody really got to know anybody. It wasn't in an environment where you could let loose and laugh. But if you have it at the shop or rent a shop somewhere where you can just have fun, if something breaks, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
People get more out of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think this year we're going to try and beat Bill. Like everybody's going to try and beat me. They'll set up a basketball hoop somewhere and I got to make a shot. And everybody's got to see if they can beat it, or they'll make a shot. And if I don't make it, they'll win a prize. Basketball.
Beat Bill.
Yeah. The other thing is set up some glass somewhere, like old cutoffs, and either try and hit it with a golf ball from, I don't know, 30 yards away and break the glass. Or if you want to throw a baseball at it.
Yeah.
That's a good idea right there.
See if the guys can break the glass from, 30 yards, 40 yards.
Yeah, I wonder how easy it is to break a piece of tempered glass with a baseball.
It's not
Probably
easy.
not that easy.
Even
No.
a quarter-inch glass is really hard.
Right.
When we do the golf balls at the range, we do that for charity golf tournaments. We'll set up a break the glass thing, but it won't be tempered. It'll be annealed.
Yeah.
And we get those realtor signs. So we put a piece of foam in there that says break the glass by my shower door. And then we put a piece of quarter-inch plate glass in that realtor slot. So I have them all cut up and just hand seamed, so it's not sharp. And we lay tarps down on the ground. So if it breaks, it falls into the tarp and you just go put another piece of glass in. So we'll go to these charity golf tournaments with 10 or 12 lights. And usually on the shotgun tournaments, they set it up at the driving range. So when the guys are making a turn, if you're a golfer, you'll understand what that means. But they have what they call shotgun tournaments where everybody goes on the course at the same time and they start on different holes. But at one point during that tournament, they're going to go by the driving range. So they got to stop in there and get a raffle ticket or whatever. And it's good for fundraising for whatever organization you're hosting it with.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just also something different. It's a lot of fun. And it ties in with glass and people always remember it.
How far do you put it back? Like 20 yards, 30, 40 yards?
About 30.
30? Okay. I saw
About
that
30.
online. That looked fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. People really like it. Yeah. And believe it or not, even the good golfers, it's not easy to hit a low stinger like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're not really usually aiming for, a space like you're aiming kind of for a flag, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. So that's and it's got to be kind of satisfying feeling too to hear that glass break. Like tempered glass is cool, when it breaks because it shatters in tiny pieces, and makes a loud pop. But annealed glass breaking has kind of a different kind of a satisfying, that shattering sound, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. If anybody's interested, let me know. I've got video of it. I can send it to you so you can see what it looks like. So all you do is you get your logo, your company logo, and you break the glass and put your company logo on it. That stays. So when the glass breaks, your sign still stays together. You can have it made of canvas and just, you can have that attached to the back of the frame, almost like a netting.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah, that'd be cool if you can post that to the group or on the page, because we do we participate in an annual golf tournament for my kids' school, and they always have, we sponsor it and everything, and yeah, that's a pretty good idea. I like that.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I'll dig it out in my videos and I'll post it this week on the thing. And anybody has any question, you can reach out. But it's a typical frame sign that you can go to Lowe's and Home Depot and get. Just stick it in the ground. You just got to get the permission of the local pro that you're going to use it on the driving range. You're going to put blankets down. You'll pick up the glass when it's done. They usually provide you a golf cart so you can put a trash barrel in the back and just bring some gloves and just clean up when you're done. It's pretty easy cleanup.
Hey, Bill, so the idea is if you hit the glass, you win something. Is that?
Yeah. So you know how they sell 50-50 tickets?
Yeah.
So they may pay $10 to get 3 shots, right?
Okay.
If you get 100 golfers, you're probably going to get 4 or 5 that actually break it. Then you can choose to split the money between 4 or 5 guys, or they get a ticket that goes into a raffle for one prize. So you may want to donate a TV. So get a chance at a TV or whatever. We sponsor a lot of the local baseball things, so I can give away tickets to the Red Sox spring training games or Twins spring training games or local hockey team games. And I buy them for the company anyhow, so it really doesn't cost us anything. It's just great exposure. Just got to, I'll donate somebody from the organization to go set it up and tear it down and sit there and give out brochures as people go around. And that's usually one of our salespeople. We just did it for the remodeling association in Charlotte, North Carolina, and it was a huge hit. It was a huge hit.
People like to break stuff.
Yeah, they love it. If you ever watched the Golf Channel years ago, they used to have that. That's where I got the idea from.
Really?
That was one of the challenges they had. Yeah. And you can do different things with it. You could put multiple panels of glass on. If they break one, they get $10. And if they break 2 of them, they get more. Or have one that's easier to hit so everybody feels like they got a chance. And that might be a $5 hit. But if they hit one, 30 yards out, they get $25. And sometimes you just go to a local restaurant and they'll donate a lot of that. Or like our local Publix grocery store, he'll give me free $50 gift cards. I just tell them it's a charity tournament. And Publix has it within the managers to give those things out to organizations. So I'll have 3 $50 Publix gift cards. Didn't cost me a thing. I just had to ask for it from Publix. And somebody comes out of there winning. They feel good about it and they get free groceries. Can't beat that. So many clever marketing things we can do in the glass business. That's what I like about this business. That's where I think, Dan was talking about a mastermind thing. That's where we should get our heads together and everybody, everyone works on their business and very few of us get the opportunity to step away from that and just work on the business instead of in the business. And so everybody I talk to, you're in season, you're busy, you're getting your guys out, you're doing this and you're doing that. You've got to try and hire somebody to do all that heavy lifting that you do, and then you concentrate on strategically growing your business. That's how you're going to see some growth.
Yeah.
That's one of the best books out there, the E-Myth.
Oh yeah, E-Myth is phenomenal.
It is
very good. Traction is a good one with Gene Wickman. That's the EOS system.
I just finished a book called Buy Back Your Time.
Buy Back Your what?
Buy Back Your Time. Have you guys heard of that?
No.
Man, it was really good. And after read the E-Myth, it was like the E-Myth Revisited. And it was really good. I mean, it really made me think, wow, I wish I would have done this, when I started my business, But when I start my next one, I'll be sure to do all those things. But this other book called Buy Back Your Time really, he really breaks down how to do what the E-Myth kind of says to do, and how to kind of easily put together these systems, create these systems for everything that you do. And the basic idea is that you want to set up, your business as though it's a franchise. I mean, whether you plan to do that or not, whether you plan to work there for your whole life, you want to set up a business so that it can run without you, basically, right? You can walk away and the thing still runs. So if you ever wanted to sell it, someone could come right in. It's turnkey. They don't have to do anything but be the owner of the business. So his name is Dan. What is his name? Let me find that. It's a really good book. It's worth reading.
That is huge advice, Chris. And it doesn't matter if you're a one-man shop or if you're a 50-man shop. It's huge advice because you're putting all this time into building your career and your business, and you want to have a value for it when you can cash out at the end. Too many guys just either close it down, you know, they made a good living and they close it down, but they don't get the real big payout, which is what you've invested in all your life.
Bill, you're probably one of the ones in here, I would imagine, that has the most locations and the most kind of set up towards this ideal. When was it that you first realized that you were actually essentially stepping away from the business and doing these things? Like, and what were some of your key hires that allowed you those opportunities that now you bought back your time and you're doing other things and then you bought it back again? You know, like what were some of those things that you realized from the just your essentially your journey in general, like along the way?
First thing we did was got a really good mentor, guy that's been through it before. Find a mentor, a mentoring group, somebody that doesn't have to be in the glass business. Matter of fact, it'd be better they don't. They're going to give you a 30,000-foot view of your business. Take a look at your operations. As long as this person understands business, they can look at your business. Don't be caught up that he must come from the glass business. It's a widget, no different than any other widget in any other business. Some people make their widgets, some people buy it and resell it, some people buy your widget and install it. But it doesn't really matter, depending on what your business is. And most people that have been in business will understand that. Then once you get your mentorship and you start having a camaraderie, if they're giving you good advice, you should follow it. Because if you don't, they're going to stop giving you advice, figuring they're wasting your time. Then we made a hire of HR department because I was doing all the hiring, firing, going through resumes. It was stupid. So we hired an HR person. Then we hired a CFO to do all the financials, the compliance, the bank balancing, checking accounts payable, receivable. That took all that off my plate because I did all that. Mm-hmm. Then we got a general manager to oversee everything. Once I got a general manager, then I can just play in the marketing department. I can go do social interaction, get involved with the school systems, get involved with the local colleges, interact with the local politicians that are making the rules that we have to follow. So you might as well have some input, right? If you're gonna make rules for you, you might as well have some input on those rules. And I found that was a huge benefit, a huge benefit. It's opened up doors for us that would have never been open before. So once I get people to run the day-to-day stuff that I don't have to make those decisions on, now, it didn't happen overnight, and they don't get my trust immediately either. It's not just the fact that I hire them and now I trust them in my business. That's not the case. They had to earn the trust. But what
kind of due diligence did you do on the CFO? Because that, honestly, that's in our area over here. That's our biggest weakness right now, which I'm trying to put a lot of emphasis in and track down the numbers, which, you know, the know your numbers from Greg was it's nice, you know, that was good. I've watched both of those. I think he had 2 of them and watched both of those. But anyway, so what kind of due diligence did you do hiring a CFO? Because that's a pretty important role. And then what kind of effect did that have on the business? Like, how did they do it better than you did it? You know, I would assume they did it better than you did it.
Yeah,
hopefully,
I didn't go to school for finance. I didn't go to school for bookkeeping.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this guy's doing these pivot tables, Excel spreadsheets, like with his eyes closed. He's doing projections. 3 years ago, we set a projection, what we were going to do for the year, and he was within $400 when we were doing 15 million a year. He was within $400. It absolutely blew me away. You're talking about a couple of invoices. That's how far off he was. It blew me away.
That's a few labor lines.
Yeah, it's just stupid. But I mean, this guy had a master's out of the University of Michigan, and then, he's been in finance. He was in a CPA role, worked for a big public accounting firm, did auditing. Really good around the books, really good. And that helps because we're just absolutely spotless. And that's one thing I didn't want, is the government come knocking on the door because I was stupid and didn't do something right. I'm just petrified of something like that happening. And
What kind of guidelines did you give him, like, to make sure that it was still being done the way you wanted it to be done, but with his expertise?
Yeah, we had an outside accounting firm that we continued to use just to oversee his stuff. I brought in a third, an outside party, or they call it a third party accounting firm.
Yeah.
And that only was for a year and a half. And we had a very good comfort level. But we found him through my mentor. Our mentor, he had run a manufacturing business in Michigan, not in the glass industry at all. And he found the CFO, and we recruited him from Colorado. I remember making a phone call. He came out, looked at our place. We took him to dinner. He met everybody involved, and he just loved the business. So that was absolutely huge. The general manager, we went through 2 or 3 until we hired a few that just didn't work out. And it was a personality thing. So we found somebody that blended with our personality. That's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
But now I can just tell that that general manager, hey, this is the way I'd like to get it done, and can you get it done for me and report back? So I'm just getting reports on what I asked him to do. He's doing very, very good at
it. Hey, Bill, do you, in terms of hiring your technicians and maybe some of your sports staff, is that something that you let your HR department handle, or are you guys still, or is your general manager kind of intimately involved in that?
No, general manager is actually not involved at all in that. So each department head's manager will tell the HR, okay, I need this or I need this. They do the search. They bring the candidate to that manager before they make the hire. They want to make sure, he'll ask them the technical stuff. Like the HR lady, she's not technical, but she will put them in front of the manager. And then the manager will do the assessment and look at the attitude and, how he answers, look at his history, see if he's been responsible.
But you're removed from the hiring, firing aspect of that. God, that's great.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
I've done it way too many. Mike, you don't know how many times I'm sitting home watching a hockey game or a baseball game and flipping through resumes. And once you get past 3, they all look the same.
I'll get the belt for like the worst hiring guy. Like I make the worst decision. Yeah. I'm with you. How many times everybody on this call has probably been sitting up at 10 or 11 at night thinking, do I pull the trigger or not? I'm with you.
Yeah. And we had a few tricks that seemed to work. Like I like to hire people that weren't employed, because if I had to let them go, I don't feel so bad because they didn't have anything to begin with. The difficult one is hiring somebody that you're taking them from another job that they had a full-time job with hopes that they were going to do well. And then when you realize that they're not cut out for that job and you have to release them, that's tough, because now they're starting from scratch. They left something that they had.
Yeah.
And it depends how they left. I mean, if they didn't give their notice or whatever they didn't do, I mean, that's on them. We give them the opportunity to give a 2-week notice, and I would respect that if somebody did it from us. I don't hold any grudges if they leave us. I'm not a slave holder. You don't owe your life to me, but I do owe an obligation to you to get you trained and give you everything you need to be successful. That is an obligation we give to them. But there's some people that just can't do it, or they're not cut out to be, even with good intentions. They have good intentions, they want to do it, and it just isn't the right job for them.
I made a lot of mistakes in 20 years. I mean, I could write 10 volumes of books, but the first accountant that I had, who was probably the wisest dude, he said, take your time to hire and quick to fire. And, I remember 21 years ago when I was having these conversations with him, it went in one ear, not the other. But really and truly, some of the biggest mistakes I made was hanging on because I didn't want to disrupt somebody's life, and some of the things that you said, where you gave them this chance that maybe they left somewhere else. But what I found over time, and by God, I am no expert in any way, shape, or form, but what I found over time is that if you keep a bad body, a bad person, a bad attitude around, it negatively impacts everybody else, and you are better off biting the bullet and just saying, we're going to have to part ways. It's not working out, for the betterment of all the people that you do have.
Yeah, and it makes you look like a stronger leader in front of the other guys. Like, he understands, for the good of the team, this person shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And you've had the guts to let him go.
Yeah.
And you feel bad about it. You really truly do.
Oh, absolutely.
There isn't a good firing. There isn't any that's good.
Mm-mm.
And we want to make sure that we've exhausted all opportunities to make it work. But if we've done that, and we truly in our heart feel that we gave you the training and the opportunity, and you hung yourself, then you really fired yourself. I'm just acknowledging it. And that's the way it's got to be, I'm just acknowledging it. But yeah, holding on to somebody too long makes you look weak to the other guys. Oh, if he lets him get away with that, what's he going to let us get away with? Why does he let him come in late? Why does he let him go home early? Why does he let, and it goes on and on and on. So you got to be fair, within reason, and the company still has to make money.
Yeah.
How much stock when you're hiring do you put into their skills versus their personality and character? Do we typically, unfortunately, hire off of skill and trade, like, oh man, we need a person that can do something, come in and make a difference, and we end up hiring people with bad character or bad, just attitudes and stuff, and kind of basing interviews off of character and attitude and stuff like that. Something we haven't done, but I have a feeling it would probably make a huge difference,
Dan, you've played sports, I assume?
No, this is a funny thing around my house. I'm good at everything, but I'm not great at anything, including sports.
I always run an analogy of sports because there can be some phenomenal, talented athletes that can be a real cancer. So they have the ability, but their attitude is terrible. And for the good of the team, you're better off to have everybody that's pulling in the same direction, even if their ability is not as good. They can make up for it with attitude and desire and strength. There's other redeeming qualities that are more important than their actual skill level. We had a phenomenal carpenter. He could make anything work. So he worked with Keith and Mag doing glass railing systems. And the sad part is he was an absolute cancer. He didn't train anybody underneath him. He felt that he had to be the one to do it all. Nobody saw any growth working with him at all. And we had to let him go. And it was tough. But the guys that worked with him now are flourishing and they're doing really well and they feel good about themselves. And it's a much, much, much better attitude. And I see that in sports. There's always a prima donna and it takes everybody else down. And even though that prima donna is very good at what they do, they're not good with the attitude and the team play. And you're building a team. And it's all about team. Somebody's got to be able to respond when 4 o'clock comes around and you got an emergency and somebody's going to say, I'll do it, Dan. I'll go do that service call, or I'll go finish that job, and I'll go help this guy carry it up the stairs. That's what you need. You don't need the guy that can do the best bead joint at the end, and the caulking is just beautiful. They can struggle with it. They can take the glass off, take a little bit longer, and they'll get the job done. But they're all going to feel good about themselves, and they know that they've got a teammate that's willing to help them. That's what's really important. I found that out after the hurricanes. I found it out after COVID, that when we pull together as a team, that's what really mattered.
Yeah, I feel sometimes you can kind of build on that skill too. If they've got, some of the basics down, they don't have to be the best, you know, but if they've got the right attitude, because we just went through that and it's been a blessing doing this, but we had to let actually 2 guys go. It was a team that was just, it was just constant, just one thing after another with our other install team. And it was just a lot of he said, she said. And then it was like, then I started probing things like, you know, just to see what was actually going on, because I'm not out in the field, you know, and then things started to come to light. It's like, oh, well, that's funny because, you know, this is what was said. And then I actually talked to the customer and this is what happened. So it's just, you give them enough and then they just, you know, cut the, you know, hang themselves. So it was, yeah, we got rid of 2 guys. And then one guy just out of the blue had applied, he had applied it a few months prior. And for whatever reason, it just didn't work out with the timing where he was at. And he was at another competitor of ours. And it just so happened he reached out right at the same time that I was kind of in the, you know, process of letting these 2 guys go. And I was like, oh, you know, this just happens to open up. So he's now on board with us doing, you know, both estimates and installing. And he's kind of like my floater and I can actually kind of lean on him, but he's still learning, you know, certain things, but it's like I can kind of give him the reins a little bit out in the field and just build on that. And it's definitely helped out a lot. And he's got a great attitude, great personality. He's really good with customers, and that goes a long ways compared to the other 2 guys that I had.
You know, here's another analogy in sports. You see some player that's got a lot of talent, and they're just not doing well on a particular team. You see him get traded to another team, put him in a different environment with different players, and he flourishes. And that's a good example of what you just ran across. Put him in a different environment, give him a different way to look about himself. He's got a new lease on life, and man, you have a brand new employee that's already knowledgeable, and that's great. But when Dan asked me before, like, what do I lean on? Well, that's one of the reasons we built the in-house training, so that we can see before we get them out in the field. I always thought, you know, I do a lot of stuff with my wife, and then when she does her grocery shopping, it's just, oh, it's awful when you go to a grocery store and they throw a brand new cashier out there and they never train her. It's like, that's not fair to her. It's not. Or whoever, I say her because that's typically what I had seen, but it's not fair to that cashier. You should be training them somewhere else and don't put them on there until they're ready. It's a reflection on the business.
Mhm.
So that's why we built that training center to do it in-house. And they don't get into the field and start touching customers' glass until they've passed through all the different requirements that we have.
So that confirms like what I've heard, you know, it's easy to teach the skills, but it's hard to teach the character stuff. So,
oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. You know, you got to ask questions in your interviews, and you know, our HR people got really good at it. You know, let them tell a little bit about themselves. Let them ask why they're leaving, where they're leaving. If they start bashing where they were leaving, that's not a good sign. It's not a good sign. If they're bashing, it's always the employer was wrong, or this guy did me wrong, or this one did me wrong. It's not a good sign. If they came and say, I'm just looking for an opportunity to better myself. They haven't used my skills to the best of my ability, and I have more to give. And I'm looking for a place to grow. That's what we want to hear. You know, I'm willing to work with somebody that wants to show me what to do, and I'll do it. But if they're in and they're just bashing that this company just run like crap and the guy doesn't know, you know, this and that, that's just not a good sign. You're just bringing a cancer on. I want guys that want to be part of the solution, not the problem. Come to me with, I can do it. If I don't know how to do it, I'll ask, but I'm not going to hack on somebody. I'm going to make sure it's done right. That's what we're looking for. We found that when the COVID hit and the hotel industry was really tanking, they were looking for jobs, and people out of the hotel industry, anybody that was really good in customer service, really good to have, especially in our sales department. They were really good. They know how to talk to people. Their skills are really polished, those soft skills. So those were great hires. Yeah, we get involved in it. It's 9:27 already.
I know. It's awesome, man. Love it. This is really good stuff.
Once you get
Really
down
important
deep,
stuff. Yeah, that book I was talking about, it's called Buy Back Your Time. It's Dan Martell.
Okay.
Really a good, I mean, I've read a lot of these books, you know, self-improvement, self-help, business building, whatever. This is a great book. Actually, my pastor at church recommended this book. And it's got some great instructions, not just, you know, I mean, all of these books have like good ideas and stuff, but this really breaks it down how to step by step put the stuff into practice. And basically his the takeaway is, the theme of it is, don't hire to build your business, hire to buy back.
I
So
like it.
don't hire someone to build it. Hire someone to replace you so that you can spend more of your time doing what you're great at, what you love. And yeah, you know, I mean, you know, you get somebody in who loves to do something that you don't love to do, chances are they're going to do a much better job at it, and for a lot less than what you're really worth, your time is worth.
Sure. Another good one is The Power of Broke.
I haven't heard of that one.
Damon John from Shark Tank wrote it. And the things that you will do to survive when you have no money. If you can keep that same mentality, even in your growth period, when you're making money hand over fist, keeping the same mentality, the power that you have to always be innovative and think of new things and new sources of revenue and new ways of customer service. You know, when you're broke and you're scrambling, you're thinking of every option. But
Yep.
once things are getting pretty good for you, you get complacent and you stop doing that.
Yep, that's
And
true.
it's like that little shot in the arm. We've all had it where things were good and all of a sudden it's slowed down and you're going, oh my God, what am I going to do? Well, some people just put their head in the ground and crawl up and hope it passes over. And other people actually start doing something. And it's that taking action and taking responsibility for yourself. Don't wait for a government handout. Don't wait for a big contract that you've been waiting a year for. Do the little things that you did when you started with just 1 and 2 employees. Go back to the same principles and you'll get back on your feet. That's it. That's really good information there.
I'll have to look into that. Christina had a question about what's your question, Christina?
Does anyone have a favorite interview question? This could be probably a whole call, but if you have a favorite interview question.
I got a whole bunch of them listed.
Maybe we should make that topic of the next call.
Stick that on the up on your Facebook page, Chris. That'll give me a reminder.
All right.
I had some really good out of the box thinking type of things. Like there's no right or wrong answer. How would you handle this situation? And it's just situational awareness.
There's another book out there that I would suggest. I've read it a couple times, called Motivational Based Interviewing. And it really it's very enlightening in terms of how you phrase your questions. Basically, you're just going to ask a couple standard questions and shut up and let the candidate speak. But it's called Motivational Based Interviewing. It was a lady named Carol. I don't remember her last name, but it was very, very insightful. Now, I still make the mistakes, but the bottom line is, if you follow that, you'll do less talking in the interview when it's all said and done. And the candidates will tend to reveal more than you've ever thought they would reveal. So,
Chris, one other thing before we leave, another good topic some night is how you can mentor your employees or staff on financial literacy.
yes.
A lot of people are getting paychecks week to week and don't know what to do with their money and are spending it stupidly and not being savvy with it. And if you have good employees and they're struggling because they're spending stupidly, you can spend some time with these guys and mentor them that way. And what a difference. Get them on the right track.
If you could do that, yeah, I mean, if you could do that for your employees, that would be such a huge service to them.
It is
an incredible service. It'd be worth giving them $10 more an hour, really. You know, that's a great idea. Love it.
Dave Ramsey has a good thing for that.
But this way you can do it on a personal level, right?
Oh,
You
yeah.
get 3 or 4 people in your business that are financially, got a good acumen about them, and just take a basics. You don't have to learn every nickel and dime about every employee, but you can say, hey, look, based on your skill level, this is what you're getting. This percentage, you should be putting towards rent, and you should be putting this much away. And then, where are you investing it? Are you doing something safe? Are you doing something stupid with it? You don't say stupid, of course. You say more risky.
Right. A little bit of risk is okay, right? Got to balance.
Got to see where you're tolerable.
You got to balance. That's right.
Yeah,
Man, this is great.
Yeah.
We're just getting started here. We're just getting warmed up. Maybe we should make this call a 2-hour.
This could be a mastermind session.
It practically is.
Yeah. Who'd have thought?
Hey, everybody.
Right? Shower door professionals.
That's right. All right. Hey, great things to come. Thanks for joining us. And hey, don't forget to check out the Shower Door Professionals website, showerdoorprofessionals.com. Go click on it and check it out. There's a lot of cool stuff there. Every time you look at it, there's going to be more stuff to see. All right, everyone.
One more thing. Go vote, everybody. Go vote. That's important.
Okay.
Out.